Hi everyone, this is Celine and welcome to my channel. So today's reading is going to be about what is your greatest value to the world, what is your purpose here on earth, and how you can uplift the people around you as well as the entire humanity. We will be looking at your hidden talents and strengths, and yeah, those that you might not already be aware of, as well as how to cultivate them, what you can do with them. Without further ado, let me introduce you to today's groups. We will be doing 3 groups today, and as I did last time, I will be showing you the cards, and you can imagine like you have a tarot reader in front of you and you're just going to pull a card from their hands, okay? So this one is card 1 or group 1, card 2 in the middle, card 3 or group 3. 1 and 2 and 3. These are from my Flower Oracle deck. I will also be showing you the front artwork, but I will give you a moment if you want to pick just based on the back of these cards. Okay, pause the video if you need to, and once you've done that, I will flip them over so you can double check if you've chosen the one for you. And card 1, we have Daylily Ephemeral. Card number 2, we have Courage with Borage, I think. Number 3, we have Nurture with Clover. Alright, I will be interpreting these cards in the reading for each of the groups. And yeah, if you've chosen your pile, let's get started with the reading with group number 1. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. You chose Daylily with Ephemeral. I will start by shuffling your tarot cards, and as I'm doing that, keep in mind the question of what does the world need most from you? What are your strengths, maybe hidden strengths and talents, and how you can uplift those around you. I will start by telling you something about this card. Daylily is a very edible plant. Many parts of this plant is edible. I think they say the flowers taste really good when sauteed. Yeah, and the roots are also kind of potato-like and very delicious. Many parts of this plant is delicious. However, the word at the bottom is ephemeral because daylilies only bloom for a day, and some of them bloom at night. So it is a very short-lived yet a plant that makes people happy because it is very delicious. I feel like some of you might make creative works that are short form, such as, flash fiction like short stories, or maybe you do some, those short TikTok or short YouTube videos. You are also quite quick-witted. A lot of you are very funny people. You say these little things that you don't really think about, yet other people think about them and they find them really funny, and they're also quite influenced by the little things that you say. I feel like some of you have the tendency to doubt yourselves, doubt the things that you say. Yeah, I get a timid energy from this group. You're a little bit shy to come forward. You're a little bit shy to make your opinions heard. But you are very sensitive and creative, especially sensitive because for some reason when I was filming your group, the intro for your group, the sound of the AC in my room was really bothering me. It's actually really hot where I am. It's 30 degrees, over 30 Celsius. Maybe that's like 70, 80 Fahrenheit. So yeah, I usually just have the AC on, especially in the day. I filmed the last reading like an hour 40 minutes with the AC on, no problem. But when I was doing the intro for your group, the sound, that little sound of the AC was like it was overwhelming to be honest. Not kidding at all. I had to redo your intro like quite a few times, and I didn't know why. I didn't think that I said something that felt wrong to me, but I just kept redoing it, and then I realized it's the AC. It was really loud. So I have it off now, even though it's probably gonna get really warm in my room. So I just feel like maybe for many of this group, your environment has a very big impact on you. You're just sensitive people. Noises, messes, clutter, that kind of thing can really bother you. Okay, your first card is the Page of Cups. Again, a young creative energy. You might like to start many creative projects. You might have great ideas, and maybe at some point in your life when you have those great ideas, you went to people and you told them your ideas and they weren't exactly encouraging, or maybe they told you that you're the kind of person who would have a lot of ideas but not turn them into actual projects, and maybe that's one reason that made you a bit shy with your creativity. Oh, that card flew out, and we have the Emperor. This is a very grounded, structured energy. I feel like this is both someone that you are turning into as well as a person coming into your life who can bring you this energy. This very structured, motivated, I will do whatever I can to finish my projects, to turn my creativity into actual products that benefit people. This kind of energy is sort of, yeah, it's going to nourish you when you step into a more, I guess, structured way of living. I'm having trouble getting out words today as well. Again, I feel like some of you might be a bit shy with having your voices heard. You also bring a lot of joy to people through the little things that you do, whether it is through hanging out with friends, the little things that you say and that you do for them, or maybe your creativity takes the form of, something day to day, something casual. Like if you're a YouTuber, you might make vlogs. If you are maybe like a social scientist, you would be into studying the things that impact us on a daily basis. You get what I mean? Like you deal with things that most people don't really think too seriously about, things that impact us on a daily level. I'm sorry, I'm having problems with getting out words today with your group. And you have the Three of Pentacles. You would really thrive in a collaborative environment. You would have great relationships with your colleagues, with your friends, with your study group partners, because you are able to listen to their ideas. You are able to bring everyone's sides together. You make them feel valued and heard, and you can sort of lift up, no matter like where you are, you can lift up the energy of that group, that setting. I also saw the Three of Swords. It didn't actually come out. It opened in my hand. I feel like one reason you might censor yourself, your ideas, projects, creativity, might be that you are worried that many people aren't ready to hear the truth. You're worried about hurting others. There is quite a nurturing energy from this card. It also says in the guidebook for this deck that in some cultures, pregnant women wear daylilies around their belly in order to encourage the birth of a male child. So yeah, another thing having to do with birth, creativity, helping other people. You might be the kind of person who would, it's that help me help you feeling. You like to encourage others, support others, and help them turn into their best selves. you might really want to become a parent one day if you aren't already. In that case, your child, either in the future or the children that you have, you really mean a lot to them. You guide them a lot, you support them very much, and they are grateful for you. We also have the 10 of Wands and the 6 of Swords. One perhaps, I guess, shadow side of your nurturing energy and this uplifted spirit of yours is that sometimes you would overly empathize with people and you would extend too much of your heart to them because you can feel what they're feeling and you want to be there for them, you want to support them, you want to make them happy. Sometimes you can overdo that and it makes you feel like you want to sort of be a loner for a while, escape that person for a while. That is very, very normal and very natural, and I'm actually happy to see that many of you have this self-protective instinct and you understand, you know when you are close to burnout, because supporting others is quite tiring for everyone. You know, caretakers, they don't have the easiest jobs out there. Some of you might be caretakers, even if you don't do that officially for a living. You might take care of your family, for example. It is super important for you to find time to recoup. It's kind of coincidental because I was telling my friend earlier today that it's not about work-life balance isn't about separating time aside to heal, to rest. It's about finding a bit of rest and more lighthearted energy as you are doing your work. So think about how you can still maintain a sense of self-awareness, a feeling of yourself, your presence, as you take care of others, as you support others, as you hang out with other people. I think one way of doing that is to feel your body more. Body awareness, that can really center us because your body is always here. It's never gonna leave you, and it's also not your mind, so it's not going to doubt you. It's not going to make you more anxious. Yeah, when you are with people, maybe sometimes observe your breath, take a breath, and you can just do this even when you're with others. Like put a hand at your heart and just notice what you are feeling. Because as I said earlier, some of you are very sensitive people, and it's easy for sensitive people to confuse what they're feeling from the outside as what they're feeling from within. So it's important for you to set that boundary of this is what my environment is doing to me and this is what I actually feel. And if you do feel the need to escape for a while, know that you are totally allowed to do that and actually encouraged to do that. Of course, we don't exactly want to get to that point where we feel like we can't spend more energy on the people we care about. But if that point does come, then it's important to honor that feeling. And another message here is that do not feel guilty if you have to do that to others. They understand, even if they don't actually tell you that. Even if they don't actually understand why you need to take a break from them, they don't mind. I mean, maybe some of them would mind just in the moment, like they would feel like they want to spend more time with you, but it's not going to hang on their minds for a long time. Eventually, they would be able to understand and be able to respect your boundary and your space. You have the 6 of Cups. Again, more family vibes, more parenting vibes, more nurturing vibes. One message coming out strong from this card is that if any of you have had a somewhat, not necessarily traumatic, but maybe just unpleasant childhood, or maybe you know there are lessons you can learn from your childhood, things that you realize now that maybe your parents didn't exactly do good enough at. Once you become a parent, if you want to become a parent, or if you already are a parent, you won't make the same mistakes. You've learned from their lessons. There is a sense of lessons being passed down to the next generation, but this is more like lessons that you've learned through perhaps somewhat difficult experience. But you won't repeat that with your child or your children if you have them or want them in the future. If I feel like some of you might have fears about parenthood or just fears about taking care of people. In that case, your fears are unfounded. You are more capable than you think at being a light to others. The Lovers, number 6 again. You've had three sixes so far. 6 is a number of harmony, divine love, balance. Like I said, work-life balance, having personal space, personal boundaries, as well as being willing and able to be vulnerable with people. I feel like love, romance is an important thing to you in this life, and you want to feel supported as you care for others. You probably really want to have someone in your life who you can draw support from. So you would thrive if you have a person in your life who doesn't exactly require you to take care of them, but they can be there for you. They don't have to do for you what you do for others. I feel like you already are pretty self-sufficient and independent people, even though a little bit timid and shy. But yeah, this person in your life, either you have them, or I would encourage you to find someone like that. This person, they care for you through little things, like cutting up fruits for you or making your bed for you without you asking, or just being super considerate in a way that you don't really notice that they're being considerate. Okay, I think I want to pull more cards that will show us. Actually, I want to clarify more about what you can do with these talents of yours, and then we will look at how you can cultivate them and how you can perhaps find more sense of personal boundary with others, and how you can just strengthen your sense of self to the point where you don't doubt your creativity or your opinions. But let's first look at what you can do with your talents. What the world needs you to do, what life wants you to do. When I say what the world needs from you, it's not like the world is trying to take something from you and deprive you or exhaust you. It's just when we do what the world needs from us, that's usually our easiest as well as most fulfilling path. Okay, we have justice. Perhaps something having to do with the legal system, like perhaps, what's it called, pro bono work, public interest, providing legal consulting or legal services to people who can't necessarily afford them. Or it doesn't have to be being a lawyer, it can be anything related to the field of law and justice. Some forms of social work. We also have death, which is transformation. It means transformation in tarot, not literal death. Don't worry. So you might also be really good therapists, psychologists, life coaches, spiritual workers, people who guide others along their transformation and their journey. If you write, I just heard that if you write, your books would help other people find who they want to be and the life they want to live. The Tower, another card meaning transformation, meaning destruction of the old and entering into a new era of our lives. You might also, some of you might be working in like interior design or like building homes for other people. Building homes, providing food, providing sustenance. Yeah, stuff like that. And maybe also teaching others how to declutter for some of you. Teaching others and helping them move on from an old phase of their lives into a more exciting and new phase of their lives. I just saw the image of jumping like with a parachute. It's the feeling of free flying, free diving, and being willing to surrender to the unknown of life. Some of you might enjoy going to high places. You might enjoy the sport of, I don't know what it's called in English, like, is it skydiving? Any sport that has to do with first going up to a high place and then jumping off from that place. All right, let's see what other possibilities are for this group. The High Priestess. This is even stronger, intuitive, sensitive, empathetic feeling. Again, many of you might be life coaches, psychologists, people who provide guidance, even career guidance, and school guidance for those who want to go to an academic program. You also know quite a lot. Your information, the knowledge that you've gained through your education is helping your work a lot. Your work might also be a kind that provides information, like specialized information that others can't get easily out there. Oh, we have the Tower card. Oh, actually, no, sorry, it's the Ten of Swords. A lot of you are worried that the things you say, the truth that you see might hurt others. My advice for that, because I can resonate with that a lot, I also sometimes say things that I think are the right things to say, yet others might not be ready to hear those things. When I was younger, I definitely made the mistake of saying something too bluntly when the person wasn't ready to hear that. However, this is something that you learn, that you can master as you get older, as you've had more of this kind of truth-giving experience. I guess you will be able to find a way to say the things that need to be said in a compassionate way. I think one thing that's really helped me if I have to deliver a message that's difficult to hear is to just let the other person know that I do that, I say that from a place of compassion, and to just clarify what I think so they don't misunderstand. Because sometimes they might be hurt not because of the things you say that you intend to say, but things they understand in their heads. This is very normal. We all understand according to our own past experiences. So the people who need to hear the truth probably already have something in their going on in their lives that might make them biased, or that might make them unable to understand clearly, objectively. So it's important when you deliver truths to clarify on it and to make sure the other person is not misunderstanding. Another suggestion I guess I have is to say it from like a third party point of view. Like, rather than telling to a friend or maybe a client that they're doing this wrong, use an example of someone else making their mistake. And you probably do have to make them understand that you are saying that because you feel like there's something they can change, but it's better to not make it about them right away. Six of Pentacles. More work-life balance. I feel like sometimes some of you feel like you're not getting enough in return from the people you help, maybe the clients you work for. I think in that case, it's probably because of your limiting beliefs about your worth, your value. It might be that you are underpricing your services, you are undervaluing your time. You might be the kind of person who, if someone calls, they want to hang out with you, or they need your advice, they need to talk to you, you would just be there for them, even if you have something on your hands. And it can end up feeling like you don't have enough time for the things you want to work on, and you end up being more anxious and rushed, like you're always behind schedule. I am getting that feeling very strongly in that case. Please don't undervalue your work. It's okay if you have to charge higher. Just let your clients, your audience know why you are doing that. And by you honoring your boundaries, by you honoring your worth, you are inspiring others to do the same by setting the example for them. Same in a friendship situation. By telling your friend that you have something you need to work on, and that you are prioritizing your healing, your personal time, you are also teaching them that it's okay to prioritize their personal time, right? And they will respect you more for it. Just tell them in advance. Don't get to the point of feeling like you have to disconnect from them, because that can make some people feel hurt if they don't understand why you're doing that. Just be clear that you have something to work on before you agree to hang out with people. Okay, so now let's take a look at how you can strengthen your sense of self and your personal boundary. What you can do to cultivate your talents. I don't think your talents themselves really need to be cultivated beyond what you already have, because I do feel like this is talents that you're born with almost. You might have always been this way. Even when you're younger, you are very nurturing, you're considerate, you're understanding and empathetic. What I do think you should work on is boundary, and especially energetic boundaries, like I said with my AC earlier. Boundaries with messes, noises coming from the environment, feeling overwhelmed, when you're in an anxious and like messy energy situation. We have the King of Wands. I think even though I feel like some of you aren't willing to step into a leadership position, if you choose to become a leader, then it's easier for you to set your own boundaries, isn't it? Consider that, even if you don't really identify as a leader, or even if you think that you don't want to boss people around, you don't want to tell people what to do. It's not about that. It's about giving you the resources and opportunity to set your own boundaries, so you can recoup better, so you can heal better, so you can be secure and happy from within, and that's going to allow you to be a greater light to others. So consider a leadership position, okay? If you aren't in a position like that already. We also have the Nine of Swords. This card has to do with anxiety, mental chitter-chatter, depression, even sleeplessness. It's when our mind is so active that it becomes almost more of a burden than a tool that we can use to improve our lives. Like this person, they're covering their eyes, and they're just being frustrated with themselves. This card also speaks about unfounded anxiety, like things that you don't really have to be anxious about. Like when I said earlier, if you fear If you have fears about caregiving, about being a parent, those fears are not based on your actual capabilities. This card is about recognizing that sometimes our minds get into our ways. And once you can recognize that, really recognize that, don't just like make a complaint about it. You know, some people, they might complain about their anxiety, the mental chatter going on, yet it also seems as if they enjoy or they value their busy mind. Some of you might not be exactly sure about whether you want your mind to be overly busy or you want a more peaceful mind. I feel like for your group, it's important to recognize that because of your talents, because of your gifts, an overly busy mind is working against you. Because you are sensitive, even a little bit of noise might overwhelm you. Just imagine what the busy thoughts can do for you, especially because they are in your head and they're always in your head. Yeah, let's see what else Group 1 can do to cultivate personal boundary. We have the Six of Cups again. Some of you might have some healing, some talking, deep talking to do with your parents or your family, the people who raised you. Could even be an older sibling. If anyone has wounded you from the past, you might have to actually talk to them about it and deal with it. Once you've moved on from that hurt already, okay? Don't go back to them when you are still feeling hurt. That might trigger you even more. However, I will say if this person is an ex, maybe no, you don't really have to go back to them and talk to them about the awful things that they've done to you. This is mostly in the case of familial trauma and being raised in a way that didn't make you feel fully supported and accepted. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Luxury, self-care. Bring more self-care into your work or when you hang out with your friends. Like, for example, if you like lighting candles, put a candle on your work desk. Something in your work environment that give you the feeling of being nurtured, being pampered, like being taken care of. It's important to bring self-care into your work, into caring for other people. If you are a caregiver, don't rush through the things you have to do for the person that you care for. Okay? Because sometimes I feel like some of you are anxious about doing enough for the people you take care of. As an example, if you take care of an elderly grandparent, you might be feeling like anxious and rushed about doing all the things that you have to do for them when you care for them. However, this card is saying that they don't really need you to rush through things. Of course, they would appreciate you doing so many things for them, but they don't really need you to rush, right? So find a space to breathe, find a little moment to take a breath when you are caring for other people. You can even just cook yourself something you enjoy, have a drink that you enjoy as you are supporting other people or as you are doing your work. Your work desk should feel like a sanctuary, even an altar to you. Put things on it that you love. We have the King of Swords. Sometimes it's important for you to take an objective look at things, even if that objective look isn't kind or isn't pleasant to other people. It's important for you to at least say to yourself that this person has this intention that's maybe not in my benefit, or this person has done this thing to me that has hurt me and they've done that because they come from so and so environment, because of the things that might have happened to them in their past. It's important to see the shadow sides, the negative sides of the people that you care for, the people that you love, the people that you support. And that's not going to make you care for them any less. If anything, recognizing their shadow side is going to help you support them and care for them so much better, because you are able to see the truth about them, the truth about what they should do, things they have to change if they want to find their highest happiness. So the more you can recognize their limitations and shadows in an objective and compassionate way, the more you can help them. Objectivity is not about cold-heartedness. It's about recognizing, understanding that sometimes truths aren't easy to hear, yet they are the most healing thing we can do for ourselves and other people. Okay? And we have the Three of Swords. Again, this is the card that made me say that some of you have fears about hurting other people with the truths that you see about them. It came out again. So, yeah. I feel like I'm going to add one more part to this reading that I didn't include in the intro. I want to get a read on your perhaps career timeline, like when you will fully step into this strong person, this nurturing person, when you can fully embody that energy, and when you will feel like, if you are working in a career path, when you would start to see the peak of your career. Of course, your career is always going to be growing. I just mean when you would see like some significant establishment, significant achievements. And for those of you who aren't officially working, like if you're a caregiver, like a mother, a housewife, of course those are very real jobs. For those of you, the timeline will be for when you feel like you've stepped into your strong self, your more mature version of you, where you're not easily bothered by other people's opinion and you are able to set clear boundaries for yourself. The way I do timeline readings, if you haven't watched my earlier readings, is by reading color, and I want to use a different deck actually. I'm trying to think of which deck I can use. Actually, I will stick with the flower deck, because that one is the most colorful deck that I have. Alright. Again, timeline predictions are always based on personal or current energy. You can always speed it up or slow it down depending on your actions. So don't be overly attached to timeline predictions and any prediction. They are only based on current energy after all, and you always have the free will to change them. This is only an extra guidance, perhaps to give you some reassurance, or to, highlight to you the things that you might have to change in order to become the person that you're meant to be. I think I will just take one card from this deck. It is so warm in here. I will turn on the AC for the other two groups. I'm about to start sweating, I feel. Anyway, it's worth it though. It's worth not hearing the buzz of the AC. We have Defend with Dogwood. The colors are, I want to say like a coral pink and a yellowy green. So for some of you, it's really right there in front of you. the healing that you've been waiting for, that you've been working on, is really just right there in front of you if you want to just cut through the veil and step over to the other side. Possibly even 2-3 days. However, it really depends on your willingness to recognize maybe the traumas, the difficult experiences that you've been through, and to work on them, and also to recognize your need for strong personal boundary. If you still feel guilty about setting boundaries, then it might take longer for you. However, the possibility is really in the immediate future, so I hope that is an encouragement. Alright, and that's all of the messages that I have for you, dear group ones. I really hope this reading brought you some light and hope. And as I like to say in closing, the light in me sees and supports the light in you. I hope you are also able to see how much light you have within and how much value you have to other people, to maybe even the entire humanity, if you choose to honor your light. Okay? I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hi group 2s, welcome to your reading. I will start by shuffling your tarot cards, and as I'm doing that, please keep in mind the question of what are your strengths and talents that the world needs the most from you, how you can uplift the people around you. And this is the card that you chose, by the way. And I'm back, by the way. That was so weird. I knocked over my little vase there, but the vase is fine. It didn't have too much water in it, so I didn't make too much of a mess. But anyway, this is the card that you chose. It is Borage. Maybe is that how it's pronounced? Borage, with the word courage. This is the flower that relates to courage, because in many ancient cultures like medieval times and Roman soldiers, Celtic warriors, they would wear this flower on their armor as they go into battle. This is also, I believe, in herbal medicine, it's got antidepressant properties, so it's a very uplifting, exciting, joyful, courageous energy. I got the feeling that some of you might be committed to a path that's not so easy for everyone to take. Either that it's difficult, like, medicine is probably the most difficult path that people think of when it comes to career. It could be a very mentally challenging or maybe physically challenging career that you have, or it could just be that you're fighting against a lot. Like, you might be doing activism, or philanthropy, humanitarian work, and you're against a lot of the power of the establishment. It's like a lot of things are set against your career or the things that you want to do. Anyway, I'm looking at the cards that flipped out, and they came out reverse, actually, because I keep my cards all in upright positions when I shuffle them. It's because it's easier for me to be able to look at the upright images and interpret intuitively based on the images. But I do read reversal meanings. It's just not going to be based on the actual physical position of the cards, but how they interact with each other and the questions that we're asking, and also my intuition. It's just so weird, not just with the flower, with the vase, but also that I have cards coming out reversed. It really should not happen, and I'm not holding my deck the wrong way because all the other cards are upright. It's just a few that came out that are reversed. I have no way of explaining this. Um, there is perhaps a bit of chaotic energy within this group. Like, you might, maybe you're just, a lot of you are unsure if you're doing the right things or not. Another thing is you're trying to topple something, like you're trying to maybe overcome the establishment, or you're fighting to uproot something that's systemic. And maybe a lot of people say that you're doing the wrong thing. A lot of people are sort of set against you. They don't really understand your opinions. They don't understand why it's important for you to do what you do. Maybe you're like sort of in the reversed position from the perspective of mainstream society. By the way, one of the cards that came out was the Lovers, and also the Four of Wands, which I accidentally reshuffled back into the deck as I was talking, but that was the first card that came out reversed. Four of Wands and the Lovers. I do feel you have people supporting you. You are working in a team. It might just be two people on your team, you and one more person. Could be your significant other, your life partner, and they're supporting you. I do see you very committed to your path. You see the purpose behind it. You are committed to doing this for the rest of your life, it feels like. This card also relates to Jupiter and the Hierophant card in tarot, which is also about expansive, like think big societal structures and things having to do with education, philosophy. You might have a very unique philosophy that's perhaps unconventional, that most people wouldn't get. The Hierophant in tarot also has to do with almost like following a higher path, seeking, drawing from a higher power. You might already be a very spiritual person, and the path that you are on is a spiritual path, and you are super committed. Even if it's not a spiritual path, it is something that's perhaps only a few people know about, only a few people would have the courage to take that path. It feels like your path is almost going to battles against the entire society. Maybe you always have to educate people on things they don't want to be educated about. Yeah. And you have the Four of Swords as well as the Magician that came out for a few times and got accidentally reshuffled back in. Sometimes I see the cards and I think that I will remember what they are, and so I keep shuffling. But sometimes I do forget, and I'm grateful that this card came out to remind me. You are a very self-made person. You are on the path that you're on, not because of your background, not because of your familial influences. Although another possible situation is that your path is something passed on through a lineage. In that case, it is based on your past. You are influenced by your past and your upbringing. However, I think for most of you, this is something that you choose on your own. It's only for a few of you that this is something inherited from older generations. This path, a lot of you are on a spiritual journey, as I see meditation in this card. This card doesn't always speak about meditation, it's just in your case, I do see meditation here. Meditation, contemplation, thinking really hard about your purpose, what you want to achieve, and the change that you want to create in this world. You guys are very reflective, intentional people. You value your life purpose a lot. This question of how can I help others, what value can I bring to other people, to the world at large, is probably very meaningful to you. It's important for you to be clear with yourself on what you can do for others and for the world. Once you see things that you can change, you are very set on creating that change. starting with yourself, you're very, I want to say wise in knowing that the changes that we want to create outside start from within, and we can't really change others unless we are identified with, what we want to see in other people. Eight of Cups, again, that energy of kind of being the outcast, choosing the path that's less traveled, could also just be following your passion when nobody in your family or in your social group understand that passion, or maybe they just say to you that it's not going to make enough money for you or something like that. Going against expectations for this group, you have the Queen of Wands here. A lot of you are quite intuitive and psychic, and you might have an animal companion who teaches you a lot. I also feel like this group is visionary people. Yeah, even though you are committed on your path and you're committed to create change in the world, the actual work that you do might be more visionary and like a consultant than physical work. Although you can certainly do things out there in the world, I just feel like maybe you take a higher up position in the organization that you're in. Yeah, you contribute to the cause that you identify with by thinking of the best ways to move it forward. What are the talents of my group twos? What does the world need most from you? Let's see. Study is important for the path that you're on, whether career training, education in the form of career training, or spiritual study. Ooh, I just thought of something. It's definitely not something I would share in any reading, but there is a particular path of yoga called, I am definitely going to butcher this word, so I apologize to everyone who understands Sanskrit. I've heard some people say Jnana yoga, like Jnana. I'm absolutely sure that's not the right way to pronounce, but I can't pronounce it the right way. I've heard it, but I can't do it. But that particular path of yoga is about like initiating personal change through having the right mental understanding, through spiritual study, through reading, through conversation, contemplation. That might be something you might be already on that path or be doing something similar. Like in Christianity, this kind of spiritual study there is studying the Bible. It's like something like that. Your words, your thoughts are important. You are very thoughtful people. This card usually comes with a negative connotation of anxiety, depression even, but not necessarily in this group. It seems like your mind is really coming up with these creative genius ideas for how humanity can move forward. And I feel like the anxieties that you do get, or the depression that maybe some of you have, it doesn't come from your own mind, but from the world's reactions to you, because most people aren't in a state where they are ready to accept your vision of the future. So I feel like your frustrations have more to do with the current state of the world, and not because of the things that you have in your mind. From within, you are good. You've done that personal transformation. As I said earlier, you understand that change. They say that, like, be the change that you want to see. And you've been the change that you want to see. Five of Pentacles. You might feel like you don't have enough financial support along the path that you've chosen to take, and sometimes it can feel like you have to cut back on things, on your own comfort, even on necessities, in order to pursue whatever you want to pursue, in order to pursue your purpose. That is a very noble thing, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I want to perhaps get even more specific into your talents and your value for for the world and humanity. When I say value, I don't mean like you have to do this to be a valued person, or that like the world needs to take something from you. I just think that we all have our unique strengths and talents, and there is something unique that each one of us can do for others. And when we do the thing that the world needs from us, that's usually our easiest as well as most fulfilled path. An Eight of Cups came out again. Some of you might be making art, and the art that you make is questioning societal standards. It's perhaps not like the pretty, like, yeah, like the pretty popular kind of art. It might have a dark side to it. You might be very skilled at using like shocking or unconventional images or creative work to sort of shock people out of their slumber. Like, you might present reality in a way that's both objective and real, and also shocking and uncomfortable to people, so that they can really see perhaps the disaster that we've all been living in. You might be making documentaries or making films, TV shows that reveal a darker side of humanity. This darker side probably has something to do with how much violence we've done to each other and to all the lives on this planet and the environment, just to gain money, just for our own survival. Like how much violence we've committed just for our own security, because many people aren't able to find that security from within. And as well as how much we've limited our own potential in order to feel somewhat secure. Like, your group understand that survival is only the basics of life. It's not the ultimate purpose of life. And while it is important and useful to make money, to gather resources, it's not an end in itself. It serves us by giving us the resources we need to become the person that we want to be, and to do the work out in the world that we want to do, to create the change that we want to that we want to see. And you are quite frustrated with the fact that people are so into money making, like the busy culture, the productivity culture, the I will do anything to the environment just to cut down costs culture. A lot of you might be environmentalists or be helping animals. Like, did I say earlier for your group that you might have an animal companion? I think it was for you. You might care a lot for animals, other living beings. You might be able to empathize with what they're feeling, and a lot of you might be vegans, or be like actively working for veganism, raising more awareness on the harm that we've caused to other lives. With the Eight of Pentacles, I do see that your path is one that requires diligent effort day after day, and you might not see immediate results right away. And you are probably also very busy because of the things that you are committed to. Like, as an example, a person on a spiritual journey would have to do a lot of spiritual practices day after day, and they're not going to miss a single day. They're not going to get up like even an hour late, because they know if they do that, then they would miss their morning spiritual practice. Yeah, that's the kind of energy that you're in. You're super determined and dedicated and devoted towards your purpose, that you aren't willing to miss even a single work session or a single practice session or Yeah, like you're the kind of person who even if you've had a late night, you will still get up early the next morning to do whatever you want to do. Like I heard that Hemingway gets up at no, he parties until like 3 maybe in the morning and then gets up at 5 to write the daily word count that he has to hit. Is it Hemingway or is it another author who actually does it standing? I think it's Hemingway and many other authors. That's the kind of discipline that you have. And if you are creative people, creative in a conventional sense, like artists, writers, musicians, dancers, whatever, you are super dedicated towards mastering your craft and you are not going to skip a single practice session. It's also important for you to let others know that you prioritize your work time, your practice time. I heard that there's this one particular author who has a house somewhere like along a freeway in maybe California, and they have a sign outside the house that says, the house is specifically for their work, okay? So it's not that they also live there. The sign says, "Don't knock on my door unless you see God on this freeway." Like, unless you see God coming down personally and standing on the freeway, don't interrupt me. You know, you have to be really clear and committed to your own priorities. You have to make it clear to everyone and without worrying about offending them, because if they really support you, they understand. Another card that's somehow reversed for whatever reason, even though the rest are still upright. I have no idea how that might have happened. I don't know. Yeah, 6 of Cups and 9 of Cups. Some of you might have actually had a change of mind regarding your purpose or your career. You might have had a sudden switch from one perhaps a conventionally accepted or like a more promising with air quotes, a more promising career to a less materially promising career, but one that's more aligned with your purpose. You might have had a change of heart, and you might have had to let go of what you once thought you wanted to achieve. And I think you realize that you thought you wanted to achieve that because of your upbringing, your family. As I said, a lot of you in this group are veering away from the path that your family put you on. This is not for those of you who have inherited this activism, this purpose, or this spirituality from their family, okay? It's just for the rest of you. I will keep them upright in my deck if I see cards coming out reversed. We have another one reversed, that is the 2 of Swords. This card usually when upright has to do with indecision, not knowing, confusion, self-doubt, self-conflict, but when reversed it means clarity from intuition, from not so logical, not so practical knowing. You might have already accepted the fact that the path that you're on is not going to make you a lot of wealth, and you've had to reconcile with that, and you still see that this is worth it. Okay, I think I want to get into how you can cultivate whatever you do. I feel like this group is quite diverse. There are activists, spiritual people, seekers, creatives, or just people who are challenging social norms and leading by example. Like, you don't actually have to turn challenging social norms into a career, right? However, by honoring your authentic self, you are creating social change. So this is a very diverse group. Yet, one thing that unifies this group, I guess, is that you are quite sure that this is the path that you are on. Even if you stumble at times, even if you face obstacles, frustrations, lack of understanding, you do feel frustrated because of that, and I'm sorry that you've had to go through so many, challenging experiences. It is very hard, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I feel like it's also kind of, you might continue to face this kind of obstacle, but that is the value of your work, right? It is because you are battling against so much established or conventional beliefs. That's why the work you do is so valuable. Yeah, you might also be great healers, even if you aren't, even if that's not your official job. You are great healers just because you've had to heal yourself over and over and over, and you've sort of mastered the art of healing. If you ever want to become a healer in any healing career, you will be able to, yeah, do that really well. Oh, we actually have the Hierophant card coming out, and your Oracle card also correlates to the Hierophant card. You might be led by someone, you might have a mentor from the path that you're on, and or you might be in a community and organization that's dedicated to the cause that you believe in. Oh, I was saying earlier, it's because your group is so diverse, there might not be a clear and specific message about how to cultivate your talents, but I'm just gonna throw out whatever I see in the cards, okay? Take what resonate, and the rest is for other people in this group. And Ace of Pentacles. There's something about building up a physical skill in this card, or just like setting up your work environment, structure your work in a productive way. Again, you might be very self-disciplined people already, and that's really going to help you if you aren't already like that, to set clear time for like when you will practice your craft, when you will do your work, when you will do all the little things that you have to do for your purpose. It's good to have that structure in your life. That's also going to give you the sense of grounding. So for example, if you feel frustrated or even like hurt that day because of other people's reaction to you, having a solid routine can help you just still keep your day moving along, even if you don't feel exactly energetic. And sometimes the best medicine for healing is just time, is just distraction, especially since your challenges don't come from within. The pain is not coming from within, it's from the outside. In those situations, in those cases, it is especially helpful to use distractions, to just wait until the hurt goes away, because it is not coming from within. You're not generating that with your own, anxiety or whatnot. It's coming from the outside. If you can just find some space, find some distance from those people, from those opinions, if you just focus on your work, your own purpose, you will feel much better, even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment. So it is important for you to have routines so you can keep yourself moving forward, keep your cause moving forward no matter what you feel. And then you have the Star card. Another way to help cultivate or to help you achieve your purpose is to imagine what the world will be like once you achieve your purpose. That's really going to give you the hope, especially when you're against so many people. I know it sounds kind of cheesy to just imagine the future, to hope for the best, but in your case, it's really going to help you, because we will only give our best towards working for something if we think that thing can be achieved, right? Especially because what you want to achieve seems so unlikely by the current state of the world. It is important to strengthen your motivation through positive thinking, through hopefulness, through affirmations, visualizations, you have to at least not doubt the possibility of achieving the things that you want to achieve, for you to put in your maximum effort to make yourself not regret it, because you are very conscientious people, you're very noble people, and you care a lot about humanity and the future of humanity. And I feel like you will want to give your best in this lifetime. Otherwise, you might look back and wonder if there were more things you could have done. So as you know, to prevent that from happening, it's important for you to always stay hopeful, stay positive, and be working hard, giving your best. And this is such a promise for a bright future. If there is a card in tarot that promises a happy and uplifted future for the collective, it is this card. There's also the Sun card, but that's more egotistical, that is personal joy, and this is more collective joy. Another card that came out reversed earlier that I put back in was the Two of Cups that I just saw. The Two of Cups. Again, you might find that you can do your work much better because of the support from a loved one, especially, husband or wife material. That person might be doing the same work as you are. You might even meet through the things that you do. Or you might meet through seeking the same purpose. Yeah. It can be as, I guess, mundane as for those who are on a spiritual path to meet their soulmate, their future husband, wife, through like a meditation course or something like that. And the card that came out earlier was the Knight of Pentacles. You do have help coming in. This is not the typical interpretation of this card, but yeah, there is financial support coming in. Your purpose is going to move people, is what I'm hearing. Whatever you do, or maybe it's your artwork, it's going to move people and they will value it more. Specifically, I'm seeing like the prices being raised higher and higher in like art auctions or something like that. Okay, and there is one more portion to the reading that I want to add. I did it for group 1 because I just felt called to do it. I did not say this in the intro, but I will be pulling cards for a timeline prediction for when you can start seeing significant achievements along your path, your journey. And as I always do, I do timeline predictions with my colorful flower deck. If you watched my earlier readings, you will see that I like to interpret time from color for some unknown reason. I don't know why. That's how my brain works, I guess. I will just pull one card, since this isn't like a dedicated reading just for timeline predictions. As always, timeline predictions, any prediction in general, they're only based on your current energy. You can speed it up or slow it down based on your actions. Okay, they are just guidance for a perhaps baseline for where you are currently. You have Nourish with Plantain. I'm seeing it's like when more people start to join into your team, your work. You might start out with just you and your significant other, or just you, maybe just one person, maybe you and another person. You will be able to, like, more people will be drawn to you. They will be moved by your cause. That is one possibility for some people in this group. And also, this is early 30s energy. Either early 30s or somewhere around 36, yet you still feel like you're in your early 30s. The number I see immediately from this card is actually 36. However, it's also giving me that early 30s energy, which is why I said early 30s. 36, I know 36 isn't exactly a young age. However, I heard that my friend told me that in ancient Greek, their education actually continues until like 40s or 50s, and you can't actually take on a political position which was considered the most, the highest tier of the society, the most respected position. You can't do anything in politics until you've had like more than like 50 years of education. So in those times, people take important positions pretty late in life. So 36 isn't exactly that late. I know if you're young and you wanna create change, it can feel like you've got a long time to wait, but put in your practice, do your work day after day, be devoted about it as I know that you already are. You will be able to see the results from your hard work. Okay? That's all the messages that I have for you in this reading. I hope the reading brought you some light and hope and joy for the future, and hope for a brighter future for humanity. I like to say in closing that the light in me sees and supports the light in you, because the light is always within us. We know where we are supposed to go, where the world is supposed to go, and what we can do for other people. So it's important for us to honor that light and also see that light in others so that we can help them and create change together. Yeah, I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hi Group 3, welcome to your reading. I will start by shuffling your tarot cards, and as I'm doing that, please keep in mind the question of what the world needs the most from you. What are your strengths and talents that you can use to uplift everyone around you? Your card was Clover with Nurture. Right away, I'm getting a very sweet energy. You might be very attractive people, physically as well as energetically. People like being in your presence. And I'm also seeing that some of you support a lot of feminine people. Like you have a lot of female friends who you like being around and who enjoy being around you. You can be either a masculine identifying person or a feminine identifying person. Either way, women like being with you a lot. And you are also very nurturing, as it says directly on this card. You support your family, whether financially or by just being there for them. Ooh, we have a card that came out, 9 of Cups. You are the person who grants wishes, is what I'm hearing from this card. You might be just supporting others as they, supporting others for them to achieve whatever they want to achieve. You would be giving your help without necessarily expecting anything in return, especially for your friends, especially for female friends. It's also possible that the kind of work that you do, you might be like an angel investor or something like that. Like you grant wishes. Angel investors. Who else grants wishes? A genie? I don't know. Maybe. I'm trying to think of another, perhaps more general example. I think teachers, in some sense, they raise people into their highest possibilities. Teachers, guidance, counselors, and of course investors in general, philanthropists, especially if you support like independent art or smaller nonprofit organizations. You might be what's it called, like a benefactor, like the person who supports those nonprofit or creative endeavors. I also feel like from the Clover card, sorry, my roommates are vacuuming. if you hear that sound, I will pause until they're finished. Hi, I'm back. So I was saying that I was seeing from this card that some of you, your value to others might be undervalued. So as an example, the clover is actually quite nutritious and edible for humans, yet it's so common out there on the ground that we kind of take it for granted, right? And it's also used to feed livestock, even though it's very nourishing to humans. So it's possible that for some of you, the people you're with don't exactly recognize how much value you bring them. Maybe because the support you give them is less obvious. Sometimes your energy alone is nourishing to others, yet they don't necessarily recognize that. They might think that those who give them money, if that's not you, are more supportive to them. But energetic support, emotional support is very important, as well as potentially draining, costly for the people who give it out. And you also have the Seven of Wands. In this card, I'm seeing you defending something. It can be your family, your friends, or it can be a cause. I feel like this probably has more to do with family, as I feel a lot of you are quite family-minded people. You care a lot about your family, and you're the kind of person who nobody messes with your family. Yeah, or it doesn't matter how sweet and nurturing you are, you will hunt them down and make them see the errors of their ways. And we have the Star card and the Queen of Pentacles. More of that nurturing home family energy. If you are an investor, you might be supporting businesses that are smaller, more independent, like people with great ideas who are just starting out. Or another possibility, you might be supporting a family member or a friend who is starting out their own career and their own business. You might be the kind of person who like to support creators out there. Or like just offer great advice. You also have quite a great sense of aesthetics. Your home is probably very beautiful, and you also represent yourself in a way that makes others feel inspired and comfortable. You're probably also very stylish people. Okay, in the Star card, I see that you are very optimistic. Your optimism might be one of your greatest talents. Potentially, like the talents that most people aren't exactly aware of that are talents. Your optimism might be this thing that's influential, that's inspiring for others that they don't value enough of. Maybe you don't even see how important it is to be as optimistic as you are. I think you are also the person who would support activists, people fighting for a better future. You give people hope. That might be one of the wishes that you're granting to others. That might be another way of wish granting, is to offer hope. Offer your optimism out there. You are quite influential, I'm seeing, but I feel like you don't think of yourself as an influencer. You are perhaps influencer in the purest sense of that word, because I feel like when we think of influencers these days, it's the people who represent brands, right? It's the people who do like sponsorship, who have great social media images, people who seem popular and desired. However, if you just look at the dictionary, like the basic meaning of an influencer, it's someone who influences others, especially through a social media channel, right? I think you are the one who is just able to influence others. Maybe being in your presence influences others a lot, heals them a lot. Your home is very healing, is what I'm seeing. I can almost see your aesthetics, but I don't want to tell you what it is because of course, everything I see, especially visuals, are biased by my personal past experiences. So what I think is aesthetic is not what everyone thinks is aesthetic. I'm just saying that no matter, like everyone would find your style to be beautiful. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say in a very roundabout way. All right. I think I want to look more closely at how you can cultivate your talents, what you can do with them. The magician. Perhaps if you are the person who supports small businesses, who supports independent creative people, I think at one point in your life you will want to be one of those people. You might start your own business if you already are in a business kind of environment, if you are already supporting the kind of businesses that you might want to start yourself one day. Or it could be that if you are supporting creators, the art or the content they make will become the content that you want to make at some point in the future. That's I did not expect to get that message from this magician card. I've never given this interpretation from this card. I don't know why that came out. Anyway, like you becoming the people you support. It's like I heard the saying that a lot of people who can't become artists for some reason become art teachers or like supporters of art. I think that could be you, and one day you will realize that what's really going to make you feel fulfilled is to wet your hands in the things that you already enjoy. Become like the people you support. I think they would really welcome you into their community. From this Four of Wands, this is another card that speaks about how joyful, how supported a beautiful home can make us feel. Setting up the right environment for not just yourself but for the people you care about. As an example, your office might be a place that your customers, your clients really enjoy going to, even if it's not for work. They might just like going to your office, and you might find that people just randomly pop in. Like it's like they don't really have anything important, but they just kind of pop into your office every now and then. Or maybe your room, maybe your apartment, or your house. Like for some reason you just keep having visitors, yet they don't seem to have anything important. Yeah. What is that card? Oh, that was the card from earlier. Anyway, I want to get more possibilities for the things that you guys might be doing out there. We have the Fool. Small businesses, perhaps even somewhat risky adventures in most people's eyes. Like you might either start or support things, adventures that seem risky from the outset. Okay, yet you are very determined, or you offer a lot of encouragement to the people you support. I'm especially seeing some of you in a boardroom setting, like people coming over to pitch a new idea, and you're sitting there and you're like nodding and smiling, and you're the only smiling face in the entire boardroom, and the people pitching the idea would look at you and continue along without letting their nerves get to them. Some of you are a like maybe a housewife or a house husband, if that's a word. Like you take care of your family, your children, and your children really enjoy talking to you and telling you what they want to do. Even when they get older, they will still run ideas by you and value your opinion as if you are their investor. You actually have a lot of insight, especially business insight, even if I feel like some of you don't, especially if you aren't working in those fields, you don't really see that about yourself, but your insights are objective is one thing I'm hearing from this card, and also very contextual and coming at the right moment to those who need to hear your insights. Like a friend or a colleague might come to you with a problem that's only relevant to whatever they're working on, so you might not have first-hand knowledge of what they're doing, yet just based on the information they give you, you can give great advice. So being a consultant, especially business consultant, can be a huge possibility for this group. Even if you don't actually end up taking that route, you might just, like, your opinions mean a lot to the people who hear them. Yeah, you really are a great influencer, even if you don't do that on social media. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. You've got two knights, Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Knights represent action and drive, determination, being hardworking, as well as being optimistic, passionate, hopeful towards the future in tarot. And one caution is not to overwork yourself because you are so passionate about something. It's important for you to rightly value your work, your services. In an earlier group, I give the example of their art being auctioned, and for them the price is going up higher and higher. I think for you, I will say that price your work maybe a little bit more expensively from the outset, because I feel like some of you are shy to charge more as you become more capable in whatever you do. And I do think for this group, even from the beginning, you are quite capable at whatever you do. So important not to underprice your work, especially for creative people. Especially if you are entering into the field that you've been supporting, that you've just been like almost looking from the outside, like a spectator. It's when you enter into those fields, it's important not to have, I guess, what's it called? Like, oh, what's that symptom or phenomenon called where people feel as though they don't belong, even though they are capable and they belong in that community? Oh, I can't remember that phrase. Sorry. Anyway, it's important not to, I guess, just undervalue your capabilities. Also seek advice or seek feedback from the people you've been supporting. Run your projects by them before you decide how much they're worth. I think they can see the value in your work. Yeah, and I think I've been adding a portion which is a timeline prediction to all of the groups thus far, and I'm going to do that to you too. I did not say this in the intro, but this timeline prediction will be for, I guess for you, it'll be for when you might, jump in the field and, yeah, become the people you've been supporting. Or if that's not your case, it would be when you start to see significant achievements in your career or in your life path, if you haven't seen them already. I'm just going to pull one card from the flower deck. 20s. It's so weird. The color that the time that this, or the number that this color makes me think of immediately is 29. However, I'm getting early 20 energy. Same happened with an earlier group. Like the number is later, but their energy feels younger. Same for you. Either it's around the age 29 or early 20s. Like if it's around the age 29, then you probably still feel really young, like you have that young energy. It might also be the age when you become a mother or a father, age 29, but you always have that innocent, joyful, optimistic energy within you, and you can bond with your children really well without being perceived as naive, because your opinions are crazy insightful. The people who listen to them might not tell you that for some reason. It could be because you give off a really sweet and fun and light-hearted energy, so they don't really, even if you get a lot of benefit from your insights, they don't give you the feedback that they find you to be very skilled or very knowledgeable. Their perception of you, that you are like innocent or young spirited, might be biasing their reactions to you a little bit. And I feel like that might be one reason that you also undervalue your work or your value to others. However, don't let go of this innocent energy. Don't let go of this wise beyond your years energy. You can be both childlike, innocent, and joyful, optimistic, yet also have a mature mind, have a lot of wisdom, and a lot of great perspectives on life. You don't have to compromise these two things. Eventually, the people around you will see the wisdom that you have, and they will respect you for that. So yeah, you don't have to censor yourself. You don't have to feel awkward for your innocent, youthful energy. You don't have to feel. I feel like a lot of women feel this way, especially like because I have I guess like a higher pitched voice, and yeah, people don't take me seriously. And I've had to work through that, just yeah, from my experience growing up. And there definitely have been times, a lot of times, when I say things that I really find to be helpful for the person listening to me, but they don't take it seriously because they think I'm just like I'm joking, or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and I get mansplained to a lot. So yeah, like just in college and earlier in life. So I get that sometimes your sweetness or your youthful energy can feel like a burden, especially if you're in the boardroom and you're the one. Do you watch Big Bang Theory? You know Bernadette, she has a really high pitched and bright voice, and people don't take her seriously, and she's also short, so that's another reason maybe some of you aren't taken. I mean, yeah, our physicality really shouldn't have any people shouldn't judge us based on how we sound, how we look, our gender, and all that, but they do, unconsciously. They might not mean to do that, but it happens, and I'm sure you have observed that. Nevertheless, do not feel as though you have to act tough or become insincere or lower your voice, because that can hurt your voice. It hurts my voice, so I'm not going to change how my voice sounds just to be taken seriously. Okay? And neither should you. Don't let go of your youthful energy. Don't grow up, I guess. Stay youthful yet also wise. And that's all of the energies. Sorry, all of the messages, not all of the energies. That's all of the messages that I have for you in this reading, my dear group threes. And I hope this reading brought you some light and joy and hope for your future. And as I like to say in closing, the light in me sees and supports the light in you. Yeah, the light is always within us, and the wisdom is within you. So please take it seriously, even if other people don't right away. Okay? I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!